Bannerlord is one of those games where little habits actually matter a lot more than you think. Sometimes it's not even about doing anything crazy or making some genius play. It's about doing the simple stuff consistently. So in this video, I'm going to go over 5 things that I think every Bannerlord player should always be doing, because they genuinely make your campaign smoother. Let's get into it. Use your companions for more than just existing. One thing a lot of players do is recruit companions and then basically just leave them there. They're in the party, they exist, and that's about it. But companions can actually be really useful if you put a bit of thought into them. Even early on, they can help fill gaps in your party, and later they can become even more useful. So instead of just hiring whoever and forgetting about them, it's worth actually looking at what they're good at and how they can help. Even one decent companion can make things feel a lot smoother. Moving on. Stop living off one food type. This one's simple, but it's something you really should be doing. Don't just run around with one food type and call it a day. It works for a bit, but having a decent variety is just better for your party and it helps keep things stable. And in Bannerlord, when you only have one food type, your morale does start going downhill. Everything just starts getting annoying, so whenever I'm stopping somewhere, I always think it's worth picking up a bit of variety instead of just stacking loads of the same thing. It's not exciting, but it helps. Moving on. Pay attention to how fast you're moving. This is a big one, because party speed affects so much. If you're too slow, you can't catch the people you want to catch, and you definitely can't get away from people you want to avoid. And that's where Bannerlord starts becoming painful. You end up watching parties run away from you, or worse, watching bigger armies slowly catch you while you can't do much about it. So yeah, I think every player should be checking their speed and actually paying attention to what's slowing them down, because the more mobile you are, the more control you have over what happens. Moving on. Don't just ride past towns without checking. I used to do this way too much, where I just pass through areas and barely pay attention to the towns. But towns are actually full of useful stuff if you just take a second to check. There might be a tournament on, there might be something worth selling, there might be a reason to stop that ends up helping you way more than you expected. And most of the time, it only takes a few seconds to look. So yeah, I think it's a good habit to stop treating towns like they're just background and actually check what's there. Sometimes a quick stop turns into something really useful. Moving on. Keep spare horses whenever you can. This is one of those things that doesn't sound that important until you get used to doing it. And once you do, you kind of don't want to play without it. Keeping spare horses just helps your campaign feel better. You are moving around the map more effectively, carrying stuff feels less awkward, and in general, it just makes things smoother. It's not some massive game-changing secret, it's one of those small habits that makes life easier. And honestly, that's a lot of what Bannerlord comes down to. So yeah, those are 5 things I think every Bannerlord player should always do, not because they are flashy, but because they actually help. A lot of Bannerlord is just building good habits, and these are the kind of things that make the whole campaign feel way less messy. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.